friends, hello and welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. So today, big milestone for us. Took us to about June 1st. Did some collections, obviously along the way, buying some players, finished the season collections, finished the live series collection, stuff like that along the way. But we finally toppled the 1 million stub mark. I don't know what it is, something about it for me. I really enjoy just making stuff. I don't even have anything to do with that. It's like, nothing really that expensive. But nonetheless, I thought, it'd be a great idea to kind of go around and potentially share my 6 best tips to making stubs in this game as a free-to-play player. Have not paid a single stub for this year, as a guy that would qualify as, well, not good. Not good at the game. If he was like, oh, hey, if you loaded into a game and you played this guy and he's like, oh my goodness, this guy seems absolutely loaded, and then you play him, he's like, how can your team be this good and you're this bad at the game? When you ask yourself that, I'm your opponent. That's me. So definitely not trying to be braggadocious about where we are. I mean, we know our place in the game, but it is hopefully something I can kind of spread some tips, spread some help to you guys, or maybe you don't want to spend money on stubs, or maybe you're having a hard time making stubs. So we got 6 tips. Number 1, when it comes, again, all of this regarding the marketplace. So number 1 is we never hold on to players that are not in collections, that are not in programs, as in you need to collect them in programs. See what we're talking about here real quickly. Programs, we'll go to other programs, season 1 awards. If you go down here to season 1 awards packs or optional stuff, people will collect these players. They can be collected. So if they're not players like this that can be put in the programs and collected, or if they're not players that can be put into the stuff like the seasonal awards anything going to season awards collection. So I shouldn't say that. We kind of avoid that a little bit, but anything that can't go in, better example would be like this Vladdy collection. If there was actually other collections out there that required, players to be collected for a good reward. If there's a good reward, these I'm not worried about a little bit because they can be collected, but just not as much because it's not a 91 Vladdy Jr. But collections like that, and then obviously like the seasonal live series. I just clicked season again. The live series collection is an example as well. Where players, the reason we like these collections is because the players are continuously being eaten, which means they're continuously being taken off the market permanently. When players aren't being taken off the market permanently, that just means every time they get pulled. That just means more and more demand. The demand goes down, the supply goes up. But because these players are being collected, you see their supply continue to just diminish once they're taken out of packs, and their demand just continues to go up. We'll go to who can we use here? I mean, Topps Now is a good example, I guess. Just for the fact that, again, they're so important when, it comes to eating these players, putting up collections. Is Blackman a guy like that? I can't remember. Ruby Ramos, like their older collection players. That's a base choice pack player now. But, you take a look at it until that base choice pack came out. The line stays low and it slowly goes up and up once out of packs because they continue to get collected and they continue to get removed from the marketplace. So I love those players. Investing in those, buying those. And the other thing is never buying the players in conquest packs and holding them for over a day. We try to avoid any player that doesn't qualify for these things. Like, you don't want to buy the player, say, all right, we'll wait for a day, we'll see if the price goes back up, then we'll sell it. I like that. If you're going to buy those players, go right ahead. But it's players like, hey, you got to flip them instantly because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe random, but signature series, Mike Cameron, for example. Right now you can buy him for 88, some for 11,250. You're gonna make about 1,000 stub profit, still good profit in there. Go ahead and do it, but that's not a player I'd hold for over a day. He's obviously been out for a long time, but just it's a general rule of thumb because prime example, right? Like, he was a 35K player, now he's a 12K player, he's a 13K player. He's in all these packs, he's in all this stuff. It's he's just flooding the market and continuing to go down. It's a sick card. But because he's in so many packs, because he's not being collected anywhere, he just continues to go down. Now, if they came with like a signature series collection, you might see him rebound a little bit there. But for now, not so much. So, cards like that we avoid. The other thing that we avoid and we don't sell right away or we keep for over a day is cards that we see get thrown in conquest packs or things we get thrown in affinity packs. Right now, we are seeing prime example programs. We'll go to the affinity. What is in here? You have the show classics in the pipeline. Now, it's not as bad as the Conquest because it does take a little bit more grinding. But it was the Conquest where they came with that Spring Breakouts pack. You go to the Spring Breakouts now, you see what they're worth. It isn't pretty, They're going up a little bit now because we're end of the season. People are starting to get stubs and they're kind of flipping them. But in general, I mean, it was you'll never see the price. It was such a long time ago. Generally sitting right around the quick sell value. So it's guys like that we avoid because their price is just going to continue to go down. Number 2, be okay with not getting the max price when you're flipping cards. Now, this one's tough. I'll be completely honest. It's very difficult because, again, we'll go back to the Tops Now because there was a flash sale out and we bought a lot of Tops Now players because it was the season awards flash sale was out. So all these guys are being released. Let's look at who comes to mind that we've already messed with. Trying to think. We'll look at the completed orders. And then we'll go Patrick Bailey. Patrick Bailey's probably a good one, right? Patrick Bailey, how you doing, buddy? Where you at? Where's Patrick? Patrick! He's 29K now. He'll work though, right? Patrick Bailey. We sold him for 25K. Actually, Glass, that was a great one too. We sold him for 19K. It's 19K again. Not a good example. I thought he was higher than that earlier. Parker, 27. Where's he at? He's 28. Oh, we'll go with Bailey. Bailey will work, but I know there was a more, you know what it was. I know it was. It was Colson freaking Montgomery. That was the one. We sold Colson Montgomery yesterday. Just got rid of him. Whatever. 45K. Not good. Doesn't look good at all. Does it? It's okay, though, because we paid Colson. We paid 19K for him. So, we almost tripled our stubs. The reason we say this, though, is because you never know if they're fully going to rebound. Sure, he could. When you look at the chart and say, okay, well, he was 70K, he was 67K. Sure, he could rebound. And, being a double diamond, being a stellar card, I can look back and say, yeah, it makes sense. He rebounded because he's 100 plus everything. He's a double diamond. Sure, he's going to rebound. But at the same time, we never truly know. And it's okay to say, okay, kind of set a price target and say, all right, I feel like it's been a day. It's been 2 days. He's starting to rebound a little bit. It's okay to sell. Because here's what happens. Sure, it could eventually get back to that price. You can always get attached to that. And it does happen. It happens a lot. But the flip side of that is, got to show you our losses. Let's go to our active orders. How about Lourdes Gurriel Jr.? June 21st, or April 21st, we bought him and said, hey, he'll go back up to 22K. Probably paid like 15 or 16K. And he'll go back up to 22.5. And he's not the only player that we've had this problem with this year. We'll say, all right, he'll go back, give it a little bit of time, it'll bounce back. We look at the season awards players, and Gurriel is currently sitting at a measly 15K, and he's been sitting here for a while, right? You look at the chart, really since we bought him on the 21st, he hasn't been 22K since. He's been on a slow decline, and you never know. You never truly know. He's not in packs. It's a beautiful card to invest in. He's not in packs. It still gets used, whatever, or still gets collected, but we ain't seen that rebound. That's okay. That's where it comes to being saying, okay, in our case there, it's like, well, we didn't get the 22.4, 22.5. Could have gotten 21 probably the next day, got rid of it and moved on. We held on to it, took that loss. And that's the thing, especially with the more expensive players, the guys that are going for the 30s, the 40Ks, and plus, you never know if they're fully going to recover that price. So you had to be cautious. I would have rather taken, again, 45K for Colson there, other than, because the reason, again, we sold him for 45, because that's where he's bouncing at. Until he spiked for 2 days, 3 days, he was bouncing around that 45 to 39K. It's like, I would rather do that than if see him decline a little bit and not come back. So we took the profit. Sure, we missed out on 15K, but it is what it is. We have to be okay with not making every profit. Meanwhile, Rutschman's not back to that price either. We bought Rutschman. We're still sitting on him. We bought him when the flash sale was out as well. He's 124. Sure. We're looking at that and saying 145, maybe 140. He's getting to that point now where we consider selling because he was on a slow decline until then. So you never truly know if he's going to get back to that 180. He might. Absolutely. Or SDS might rip out another pack or another sale that just demolishes his price in the next 2 days. That's the thing. You never know what they're going to do. You cannot predict what SDS does. So you don't want to get caught holding onto players too long thinking, okay, eventually he's going to hit that price because all it takes is, again, flash sale, stub sale, not stub sale, that'll help your coin or help your price, but pack sale, anything that can come out and just drop the price of a player. He gets thrown into the vault. Any second they can throw a player into the vault and all of a sudden, okay, that might hurt his price for a little bit. So we try to get rid of players as quickly as possible. We try not to get too greedy. Rule number 3, don't hold cards into Fridays. We were just talking about it. You never know what SDS is going to do. Friday's typically the big day. This week season 2 begins. New ranked program, battle royale event, roster attributes update, season awards. You never know. The new ranked battle royale event, you could get a ranked thing that comes out again. Maybe it's a silver sluggers pack. Probably not, but you never know. So you never know what's going to release on Fridays. And you want to make sure you're not holding on to any cards that could potentially get completely demolished on Fridays because of a program released that has a pack in it that says, all right, guarantee this kind of player or this player that hits it. So we try to avoid holding players going into Fridays. Same thing with though here is be prepared for the flash sales. That's rule number 4 here is always be prepared because, that's where, again, you can flip cards all day, make some stubs. We walked into Friday with 700K. If you watched our previous video, we was talking about how there was probably a very good chance there was a flash sale that came out this past Friday. We did indeed get that. So we sold everything we had. We had as much coins as possible. We had 700K laying around. Again, by the time we sell Rutschman, by the time we sell Yuri Perez, that'll be probably 200 more K. We got our active orders now. There's another 200K there easily. A couple other players right now. We'll be close to 1.5. So we doubled our stubs on the flash sale. That's the goal, is to walk into a flash sale and double your stubs. So you want to have as many coins as possible. You have 100K, 200K, you have 50K, 100K, right? So it's a huge difference. You got to be prepared for the flash sales, which typically come out on Fridays. And typically what we see is SDs, they're kind of, they just had a flash sale. So we know it's not going to be next week. It's not going to be week after that. Probably not going to be week after that. Typically it's a 4 to 5 week range. If you watch what they do, it's kind of cyclical to where, it'll be a week where there's not as much going on. Sometimes, right now it's kind of all over the place. But, next week's a roster update. I would say the week after that, maybe you get a stub sale. Maybe you get a double XP weekend. Or maybe they have that's the second week. Then maybe week 3, it's like, all right, new team affinities drops. And you get the week 4. It's like, okay, what's going on week 4? Maybe it's a dull week. Something's kind of down. And then all of a sudden, maybe, that would actually be a roster update. When you could roster update, you're coming around that event again, count it 4 to 5 weeks. That's when you start to be leery. You start to be aware of the flash sales. And it's so important. It is so important to have as many stubs around because, again, just going over what we bought during the flash sale, you look at the prices we paid for these guys. We was buying anything we could. James McCann 6K, Max Meyer 5K, James McCann 6K, Walker 5K, Parker 6K, Ramos 5K. Any tops now we could buy. And you look, Gorman or Bailey 25, Bailey 25, Legaliers 19, Glass now 18. We sold that McCann for 25. Prime example, we sold early, could have got more. We got one up right now for 33. The 5K players, hey, forget doubling those stubs, 6Xing them. But again, it's not going to be like that for every player, and that's why it's important to have it. Some players are going to completely get crunched. Some you might only make, 30-40% profit, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You just have to be prepared because that's the absolute golden age, golden era, golden time, whatever you want to call it, to make stubs. How about, again, we'll go back to what we like buying. Rule number 5? Yeah, I think we're on rule number 5. Rule number 5 is we like buying player, depending on, you have to be very leery, I guess. We like buying players if you're going to buy them, but they're not in Conquest. We like buying players while they're in packs. We'll go back to the Tops Now players and how we say this precisely, particularly. Players that are in packs for a limited time, not players that are in packs forever, because if they're in packs forever, they're just going to keep going down. But like the Tops Now, the season awards, it's a pack that's out for a week. So we like buying the players while they're in a pack. This week, Vierling, prime example. Gonzalez, great example. Bradish, great players to buy. They're all in the packs right now. Once they go out of packs, I'd expect them to go back up. Last week we bought, was it Lipscomb? Yeah, we got 4 of them still. And, you look at his chart. He was 6K, he was 7K, he was 7K, he was 7K, 12K. Top price was 9K. And we're slowly starting to see him back up. 14,350 right now. And, Brandon Nimmo was the guy the week before. He was going for 10K. Now he's going for 18K. So once they come out of the packs, they start to dry up a little bit. The price starts to trickle back up. So love buying players that are limited time pack players. Who was the other one? It was was it Yuri Perez? We was just looking at him, or Colson Montgomery, limited pack player. You can tell when he got out of packs, right? He probably left packs May 25th, May 26th, and his price slowly trickled up more and more and more, and boom. 70K all of a sudden. Everybody's not going to do that, but if they're good cards, that's the thing you look at too. They got good stats, good card. When they're in packs like that, likely to go back up. Even I want to say, I wanted to say Chris Bryant might have did it for a little bit. They put him in so many different events and packs that crunch his price. But there's guys that do it and guys that don't do it in that situation. But I do like that. I do like that when it comes to, again, especially when it's players that need to be used for certain programs, certain events, stuff to buy for in that regards. Last but not least, when you're trying to just in general flip players, make some stubs, let's talk Miguel Sano. 27 by 34, so that's going to be about a 3,500 tax, which is going to push him down to about 30K 900. There's still about 3K in profit there, 4K in profit. When you're looking at spreads, I am always looking at 1,500 coins plus. A 1,500 coins plus profit, because actually Robert Suarez is going to work 33K. That's going to be 28.60. He's really close, but I'd still buy that. 5K spread total, but there's a 2K spread profit. You're going to make 2K in profit after the tax. We look for this for a couple reasons. One, you obviously want to try to make a 1,500 per player. That'd be great, but there's always going to be that chance of some slippage where he's going for 31,678 now. There's two of them up at the same price. People might be undercutting each other. You might end up selling for 31.4, 31.3, or you might even sell for 30K 500. It could get ugly. You could sell for 30K 500, just try to quickly flip them, especially if it's cards that we don't hold on to them for a long time. You only hold on for a day. You can see that price drop quickly, 30K 500. Boom. Now all of a sudden, after the 3K tax, you're selling for 27.5, but it's still 500 stub profits. You're still trekking forward. Sure, it wasn't the profit you wanted, but you still made the profit, as opposed to, buying a player on a tighter spread. See if we can find probably a better idea in the live series, really. Find a guy in a tighter spread, like a Fernando Tatis. They want to go Tatis. Spencer Strider, better example. He's only got a 4.3 spread. You'd lose stubs flipping him right now, actually. Not a good example. Don't prime example of a guy not to buy. But, Garrett Cole, he's 60K. You'd lose 6K, so it's 54K. You'd have 1.3, on the stubs. But again, he could quickly drop. Especially a 60K player, you could quickly drop a K and all of a sudden you're barely making anything, possibly losing stubs. So we try to avoid situations like that at all costs. None other than that, though, that pretty much, again, basic things to live by, basic things to be mindful of, mistakes I've made in the past, kind of learn from, that can hopefully be helpful to you guys. It was rough. We talked about it early in the year. It was rough making stubs early because of how bad some prices were getting crunched, how bad players are going back and forth. But everything's coming to fruition here lately. So hopefully this video helps you all. As always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.